Hello everybody, my name is Mahmoudul Hassan Akhand, and in this podcast session I'll be talking about George Orwell, an accomplished British author famous for his satire, Animal Farm, as you might have heard. Also, his magnum opus, considerably, 1984, which is still taught around universities and discussed in study circles. Controversial, but nonetheless still uh, relevant in a sense. In a sense, people do find it very compelling. And okay, in this session, I'll be talking about George Orwell, colonialism, and its legacies, its past, how it's like in the contemporary world by using George Orwell's essay killing an elephant. So first of all, what is colonialism? This term might sound very much new to some people. Colonialism has the word colony in it, and colonialism means an economic model through which a territory tends to go outside of its borders and uses its influence at other border for what you might ask, to extract its resources, labor, land, etc. For what? To cultivate capital. Also, in some cases, they might develop the market for their own benefit, and use that market to extract more capital for themselves. Uh, for example, in the British colony India, they used to cultivate cash crops. No, for targeted for only the Europe continent, and those cash crops didn't go well with the economy of the India. So many disasters followed, like famine, etc. This profit maximization, the profit driven economic model, is very much inhuman and very much indifferent. And the colonialism also tends the intense version of the colonialism, also the tool they might use, it's called imperialism. In the imperialism core being the imperialist core being the Western European, or the European or Western nations in general, tend to have unlawful power over certain colonies, which they might do so for their own benefit, for their uh, own profit. Uh, and colonialism, imperialism sort of parallelly developed after the French Revolution, when capitalism was in its infant stage. As the industrialization happened, sophisticated division of labor got introduced, and classes became much more divergent, and yes, new classes emerged, but the class conflict still remained the same. Uh, that's when the colonies, that's when the main imperialist core decided to expand their borders just for one purpose: to profit as much as they can. So if we look at George Orwell's essay, killing an elephant. Uh, Possibly it's also his own experience when he served in Burma, now Myanmar, as a police officer. And yes, As a normal white Englishman, it was his first important position that he got, and throughout the essay, we got to see how how imperialism, colonialism actually affects every facets of life, like in very subtle way. The essay sort of brings everybody's attention to the fact that not only the people who got colonized, but also the colonizers also goes through various emotional or internal conflicts. Also, the structure, the imperialist core, they themselves build to legitimize, to justify their own unlawful rule in a foreign land, how it goes against them, their hypocrisy. The essay sort of explores that. For example, the hypocrisy of the matter that when the narrator discovers a dead body, and he discovers the fact that he is not an Anglo man, like not a white British man. He is just indifferent because okay, that doesn't concern him. He is very much, his description was very much gory, but as seen in the text, he didn't react much to it. It didn't matter to him. It's just another dead body. But if it was another white Western guy was laying down there, he might have been much more sympathetic to that. Also, his unwillingness to kill an elephant who is wreaking havoc in the human settlements in the Burma, but he is very much comfortable and he's very much trained at the fact that he can aim the rifle, and it's very suggested he's a very good shooter. So what does he shoot? Of course, he doesn't just he's just not a police officer who just goes on animal hunting on vacation. No, he is there to maintain order, to maintain the system is stable. He's there to kill the people who rejects the rule. And yeah, it's very heavily suggested, despite his unwillingness, despite his unfavorable opinion of the imperialist structure that is present in that continent, the Indian subcontinent, in the Burma. He still follows it. He still follows it. He still kills the elephant, despite his unwillingness. He still kills the elephant. His unwillingness to kill the elephant also stems from the fact that the elephant can be seen as a profit generating thing. Instead of killing it, he could have used it. Also, the fact that the local populace who were very much excited about the elephant meat, this made him unsettled. So he was, throughout the narration of the essay, made it abundantly clear that he is not local. He didn't settle in. He was an alien in a different place. And the same rules that they made to the white man's pardon, how they are here to make the local population to go through rapid development. Yet he those peer pressure, those expectations of a virtuous white guy who will be there to protect the Sahib, who will be there for the people of the colonized nation. They needed to maintain the face they made for the masks they made for themselves. They needed to maintain that. That's why the narrator in the George Orwell's essay was pressurized to kill the elephant. and through the also there was an element of the power dynamics in the play. It's also very subtle. Also, the killing the elephant can be seen as very much allegorical as well, like allegorical of the colonialisms and imperialism's impact in the subcontinent. And now, if we look at how colonialism exists in the current contemporary world, although yeah, the British Empire, there was an expression that the sun never sets in British Empire, which used to suggest how large their territory was, absurd amount of territory they had, which yes, they don't exist. The British Empire don't exist, yes, for sure. But imperialism, the colonialism, imperialism itself has changed their fashion. They have changed their outward clothes, but it's still there. If we look at African nations, many nations are still under the control of Western imperialist forces. For example, the last time I heard that the France still has military presence in Congo. Which why you might ask? Because of their resource heavy raw materials. Many African nations are rich in gold. Some African nations have uh, very much essential raw materials, which is very profitable and very high in demand in the current market. So they, as this being the foreign nation, is there, and they are using whatever means they have to justify their presence. Even not only the nations, not only the states, even if you look at multinational corporations, for example, Chevron, they have they to to ensure their oil extraction, which is a very profitable business, is very much very much involved in lobbying and anything, and they are very much involved in inter they're very much interfering in political parties to ensure their own survival. So goes to shows how colonialism is imperialism is here, still here, who is very indifferent, who is very who imperialism is very much indifferent to the local people. And not only that, not only people, it also causes ecocide. And if we look at the current world, it's there. Not only Africa, in imperialism exists in software, hard power. And if we if we look at the current political geopolitics critically, we can see the unseen webs of the imperialism still existing throughout the parameter. So, if to end with, George Orwell's essay also clearly manages to capture another thing, which is how the narrator, through the narrator, he manages to portray the emotional turmoil, the conflict of the white man, white generic white man whose authority, which stems from the imperialist system, that system which he got the authority from, is in decline, and how he feels about it, how, as he is stationed in the real world, as he had seen many atrocities committed by how he feels, how he acts, despite seeing such things, how he interacts with the world. The essay clearly managed. So yeah, thank you for joining in. This is it. Thank you.